gratitude. It is June 14th, almost June 15th. It's like 11 something p.m. And I am just in such an immense state of gratitude right now. Currently walking in the neighborhood I've wanted to live in for years now. Literally just moved to my new place 2 days ago. It's been a whirlwind, ton of emotions, both negative and positive, mainly positive, but some emotions that can be maybe perceived as negative. Just a sense of maybe sorrow, a little bit of loss, leaving behind a place that I had called home for almost 2 years, and just getting really comfortable there, and building the community I had there. Definitely was a bit of a change for me, but luckily I'm not super far away from there, and I'm still going to maintain friendships that I created over that time. But I just want to talk a little bit about gratitude today, and what that means, what it looks like, and how to live in gratitude, even when things maybe aren't going your way, or you've had some shortcomings. So for me, just kind of round things out, the biggest piece that I like to always think about when we're dealing with gratitude or talking about it is counting your blessings. No matter how big or how small, because I think it's easy to want to quantify the number of blessings you receive, and also rank them. And sometimes when we talk about receiving certain blessings, or just good things happening to us in general, if it's not like a really big thing, we can oftentimes write it off as, it's just something that happened, but it wasn't a true blessing, or it wasn't something that mattered or was big. So for me, that's like number one, is just understanding and realizing that no matter how big or how small that good thing is, recognize it and be appreciative of it when it happens. This is, for me, this move signified obviously a major, big thing, but I cannot forget to count some of the smaller stuff. And I'll give you an example. Last night I was sitting in my new apartment. Was feeling an overwhelming sense of loneliness and solitude, which solitude isn't a bad thing, but for me it sort of overcame me as a feeling of grief or negativity in some ways. And I kind of sat with that for a few minutes, but after a couple minutes of feeling down, I kind of sat back up, sat up straight a little bit, fixed my posture, and I realized this is exactly what I was asking for. This is exactly what I've been wanting for years, is the ability to live on your own, even though it might be scary and it might get lonely sometimes, but be able to live alone, be able to create a home for yourself. This is the exact thing that you asked for. You wanted the hard stuff. You wanted your life to look a particular way. Well, if you want your life to look in the way that you want, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something that just appears to you with zero effort or zero sacrifice. Changes need to be made in order to get to where you want to be. And change has to happen, right? For me, I think, I kind of talked about this in my last video of where I spoke on taking the first step, right? But I think it's easy to, revel in that comfort and bask in it. It's very easy to bask in comfort. And I promise there's a point to this. I'm going to tie it back to the point of the video. But yeah, I think it's important to understand and realize that, when there is change occurring in your life, or more importantly, if you want change to happen in your life, if you're not satisfied with where you are currently at, changes need to be made. There has to be change. It is impossible for your circumstances to change without actions changing, or possibly location, like living wise or job wise, whatever it is. In some level or in some way, a change has to occur. So, although change is scary, it's inevitable if you are not satisfied currently and you want something different. It's literally, if something is different, something changed in some way, shape, or form. So I think it's just important to remember that. And it's important to really be open to it and be ready for it and be grateful for the change. And how I'm tying this back to kind of my original point, right? With when we're speaking on gratitude, be grateful for the change that you asked for. Again, we talk a lot about, oh, I want this thing to happen. I've been really wishing for more money in my pocket. Okay, well, more money in your pocket typically, and I say typically, not always, but typically, it involves some level of harder effort, more effort. Whether it's you're getting a title increase at a job, that's typically going to require more. It's typically going to require more responsibilities, which is more effort and more work. If you, for example, wanted to move to a bigger city, right? That's going to come with, maybe parking is going to suck. Maybe traffic's going to be really bad. But when you start to live and experience those things that the not so good things that came with that thing you wanted, you have to understand this is what you asked for. It's what you asked for. For me, I wanted to be within a city that, for lack of a better explanation or description, felt like a city. It has been a while since I've lived in a larger scale city, and this is exactly what I wanted. And what comes with it is, it's going to be a little bit of traffic, right? Parking is not going to be as ideal. It's going to be just overall not as a suburban feeling, of course. So if it's something you're used to, it's a little bit different. And I can perceive these things as negatives, but instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to perceive them as positives. I'm going to perceive them as inevitable. How can I put this into words? I choose to perceive these things that are happening as inevitable side effects of what I ultimately wanted, which again was to be in a city, to be in a bigger city that had a feeling of community, that was walkable. That was really important to me as well. I wanted all these things, and what came with it was maybe certain things that I'm not quite fond of, but that's a part of what I wanted. It's inevitable. So again, just to kind of tie it back, right? Living in a state of gratitude is essentially just being happy with whatever circumstance you're currently living in. But flip side of that, if you're in a circumstance, whether it's living, whether it's a living situation, whether it's a bad relationship, whatever, on the same side, on the same token, on the flip side, understanding that gratitude can also mean that and recognize change needs to be made, and something different needs to occur in order to get out of where you're at. So I think it's just important to, no matter what, again, just to the whole point of the video, be in a state of gratitude. Oftentimes this goes back to my first video of taking the first step, but oftentimes we choose comfort over the thing that we know is better for us, but maybe is a little bit harder or requires a little bit more effort or a little more willpower. Oftentimes we choose comfort and peace over that thing that we know in the long run is going to be better for us. And as someone who lived like that for far too long, choose the discomfort, choose the scary stuff, choose the option that is going to make you skeptical on the outcome. Choose the route that is going to push you to work maybe a little bit harder, put in a little bit extra effort. You won't regret it, I promise you. Be grateful that there's anxiety surrounding that decision, like whatever the decision is that you make. Be grateful for that anxiety, because that's telling you that you're a normal human being and you are aware that, I don't know, I'm starting to ramble at this point, but long story short, if you're still with me at the end of this video, please remember to be grateful for the circumstance in which you are in. And if you aren't satisfied with your current circumstance, be grateful that you have the choice to get out of it. Whatever it is. There's some nuance to that, obviously. It's not black and white, but by and large, for the most part, we do have the power to change our circumstances, by and large. So be grateful that you are alive on this planet and are in this world, and you have the ability to make that change. So I think that's going to be it, guys. Yeah, if you have any questions, any concerns, please leave a comment down below. I care about you. I love you. And yeah, don't be afraid. Until next time.